Hi there. I'm back for part 2 of this lesson. Okay, so you should have already uploaded your inspo collage, and I think most of you did. I have about 3 people that hadn't uploaded it as of this afternoon, and today is Thursday. So you have just a few hours left to get credit for that. So please turn those in. Okay, day 2, costume renderings. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to make a change here to see if you're paying attention. Okay, so you better be watching this video because we're going to have some extra stuff that we didn't talk about before. I am going to, let's see. I'm going to say wolf in grandmother's clothing. Grandmother and grandmother in her cloak. Okay. I'm also going to, all right, there we go. So you're going to have 6 renderings altogether. So I know that on Wednesday's lesson, I said, yeah, only 4, but I've changed my mind because I think you guys can get these done fairly quickly. So let's see all the different looks from the play. So I want to see Little Red Riding Hood in her, she only has one costume. I want to see Mother. I want to see Wolf as he is when he meets Little Red Riding Hood. And I want to see Wolf in grandmother's clothing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to finish the script. Surely that's a trope that you're familiar with. Then I want to see grandmother in her bedclothes, like whatever she's in when Wolf um, impersonates her. Like, what is she wearing? The same thing that Wolf is wearing, or does he take some liberties with that? And then, so we see her there after the reveal that she's not, So I want to see grandmother in her cloak from the end of the play. So tell me what those, or show me what those people look like. All right. Each one of these needs to be a very complete rendering. So what that means is, for instance, Little Red Riding Hood, we need to see her filling up the page. I'm going to show you some examples here. So you're going to have 6 renderings. I'm going to show you 3 of my own that we've seen before. These shouldn't be a surprise to you. But just as a reminder is what a complete rendering looks like. Here are some examples. This rendering here is, as you'll see, takes up a lot of page space. So there's very little space up here and there's really no negative space at the bottom. But even out to the side, because of her pose, we're seeing a lot of negative space being taken up. It's awesome. Also, look at all the detail. I was really industrious when I did this. But I think even the little leopard print here and the little hairs, like, think about including those little details. I want to see that you actually spent time on this project and it's not just a, quick sketch and quickly colored sketch. You've known about it for a while, and the addition of those 2, or you've known about it this week, so the addition of those 2 little renderings won't be that huge of a deal for you. Okay, so remember, taking up most of the space on the page is very important. Then we have Alonzo, or Alonza from The Tempest. So he is a good example of using color to talk about the character. So the color of this character's costume tells us a little bit about him. Look, we've got like red, white, and blue. So we know that it's kind of not patriarchy. Well, maybe if he's the king. Patriotic look. So and all the medals and all of that tells us that this person is important and probably a representative from their nation. His crown, the colors in his crown are typically what we would see when we're talking about crowns for royalty, gold, and different colors of gems. Then we have, again, more texture and pattern. You see here in his jacket that there's just some sort of interesting little pebbling or texture on his jacket that tells us it's not just a soft fabric. It's got some feel to it. Um, I really like the tattered edge of the cape. It tells us that he's been through it. Everything's very textural. And then we see the sheen of these things here. That tells us that high contrast between light and shadow tells us that these are probably um, not fabric at all, maybe more metals, metallics. Um, okay. So it's just giving us, giving life to this character, the color choices here and the highlight and shadow. I want to see you guys really go deeper than we've done in the past and show me dimension to your characters. Um, the color, if you use it thoroughly, will give your character life and really show us what their relationships to the other characters are. In this show in particular, guess what? Um, the defining characteristic for him and the people of his kingdom are the colors that I used in the drawings. That is very important. So his red, white, and blue is repeated over and over throughout the play in different characters' costumes. Okay, our last little bit here, our example, is from a version of Spring Awakening that I did. I think I've shown you this before. This is Melchior. So he has this school uniform, lots of little pockets and buttons, and really tightly cinched up, and armbands, and he's got these cinchers on the back of his. What do we call that? A waist cinch or something? A waist trainer. He's got like a waist trainer on the back of his costume, on his jacket, all to give him the vibe that he's really restrained and really like pulled in by what society thinks about him. Well, even his pose shows that he's kind of nonchalant. So it's a little bit of a juxtaposition with the very restraining costume that he has on. Um, he is he's looking very casual, very laid back, very somber. He's not looking stressed. So that's telling me that his pose is indicative of the way that he's reacting to whatever is put upon him. So he's in this uniform. He's in, um, very military-like colors, very militaristic color palette, and that's just letting me know that this guy is probably a rebel. I get the sense, the attitude from him that he's not cool with whatever is being put upon him by the powers that be. Um, that's just one example, and that's a very subtle pose that tells us a lot. Hands in the pockets, that's a casual look or casual action. Um, just kind of laid back, chin up, looking like he owns the place. That all that's telling us a little bit about this guy. And then I want you to really think about that, and I want you to think about um, other ways you can show character, like action poses and things like that. You show a character mid jump, you show them creaking over and using a cane. That tells us that this person is older. Automatically, the little hand on the hip and the other hand on the walking stick. That tells us that this character is older and maybe not getting around as well as other individuals. And then she looks very demure, very like grandiose because of her huge gestures of her with her arms and like whatever she's doing there with her face. Um, this is just telling me that um, she's larger than life. Her costume is larger than life. It goes off the page. and then fills up so much space, and then her personality matches that, and that's what I want to see. I want to see these being really addressed in that way, shape and form. Okay, so remember, you've turned in character analysis form, inspo collage. That's done. March 20th, day 2 for digital learning is complete costume renderings for Little Red Riding Hood, Mother, Wolf, Wolf in grandmother's clothing, grandmother, and grandmother in her cloak. Okay? I'm sorry that I changed it, but I think that this is going to be much better. And it just, 4 was, I think, just not enough for this project. And these are going to go quick. Remember, you can work any size and any size that you would like. You can work small scale as long as you're very detailed. But I say give yourself plenty of room, and then you have all that detail. And then when you take a close up photo of it, you really get a good sense of what the texture is, the color, everything. I'm going to really quickly, I haven't done this before, but I'm going to go in. Let's see. Oops, sorry, Avery. Shout out. Here we go. Aha. So we are going to look at the rubric. That's what I was trying to figure out. So the rubric. See, and I even need to update this. Wolf in grandmother's clothing. Grandmother in her cloak. Okay. So remember you had yeah, and I put examples on here, and I'm sorry if that confused some of you. I really wanted you to use the ones that were on the Google Classroom post. So if you did those, if you did do something else for your choice, that's fine too. If it was one of those in the little examples there, but I've removed that now, so it won't be confusing anymore. But yes, 6 renderings. You'll see all the different standards that are being assessed here. Make sure you write or communicate some way with me which one you're doing. If it's not obvious in your inspo collage, full color. Oh, this is what I wanted to touch on. The thinking about the line, the color, the shape, texture, and pattern of your designs is very important. These are the elements of design that come into play whenever you're doing costume work. So I just want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and really thinking about that. You can see those aspects at play in each one of these costume designs. And I even like the idea of putting in a background. You see that subtle gray wash back there really does a lot to make these characters look grounded and in place. This one is a little less successful because there's only just a little bit, and it's so bright behind it, it's a little distracting. But even just putting that little gray wash, even if it's just a quick pencil lead um, moment that you have on your paper, it's going to give you a lot of a sense of gravity to these characters and make them feel like they're not floating in air. So let's try that too. Okay. That being said, I think we're done. So again, Little Red Riding Hood, mother, wolf, wolf in grandmother's clothing, grandmother, grandmother in her cloak. Cool. All right. Well, get to work on those, and I expect those in by Friday night or Saturday night by 7. I will, if you have it in by Saturday night at 7, I'll put in attendance before Sunday morning so that everything will be good. Um, yeah, so get to work and have fun with it. It's a cute little project, and we're going to figure out what we're going to do after this because I hear that some news has happened. If you haven't heard, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think we're out of school for even the more weeks than this, so we won't be coming back straight from spring break. So yeah. Um, anyways, I touched my face, but I've been at home. I haven't interacted with people, so I'm okay. Uh, I hope you're doing okay, and please reach out to me if you have any questions or you just want to, chat. You can always do Google Meet, so you can do a video call. I've realized that's a really good way to communicate. If you're confused, anything else, if you're worried about like the play, for instance, the Tempest, anything at all. Okay. All right. Well, have a great spring break if I don't talk to you. And I'll see you later. Okay. Bye now.